The Retro Football League presents The Extra Point. Powered by Wolverine Studios Draft Day Sports Pro Football. It's time to take the field. What are you bringing to the table? And now, for our host, Lance McAllister.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Extra Point, your go-to source for all things professional football in the 1978 RFL season. I'm your host, Lance McAllister, and boy, do we have an action-packed show for you today. Our first order of business, let's dive into the divisional playoff games that took place last week. We had 4 electrifying matchups, and I've got the scoop on each of them. First up, we had the New York Giants traveling to Los Angeles to face off against the Rams. And let me tell you, folks, it was a rainy showdown at the Coliseum. The Rams managed to come out on top with a 37-14 victory, and a big shout out to their defensive player of the game, Al Baker, who had a monstrous game with 4 sacks and a forced fumble. Looking at the stats, the Rams edged out the Giants in total yards and time of possession, but it was those turnovers and sacks that truly made the difference. Now, let's shift our attention to the Dallas Cowboys facing the Chicago Bears in another wet and wild matchup. Tony Dorsett took center stage for the Cowboys, rushing for 152 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns, earning him the Offensive Player of the Game title. On the defensive side, Randy White stood tall with 8 tackles and a sack. The Cowboys dominated in total yards and time of possession, showing their balanced offensive and defensive prowess. The Bears fought hard but ultimately fell short in this one. Down in sunny Miami, the Houston Oilers battled the Dolphins. Despite a valiant effort, the Oilers couldn't find the end zone enough, and Miami secured a 16-6 victory. Defensive end Bill Stanfill was a force to be reckoned with, registering 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Miami's defense held strong, limiting the Oilers' offense, and their own offense did just enough to secure the win. Finally, in a rain-soaked battle in Pittsburgh, the Seahawks faced off against the Steelers. It was a one-sided affair as the Steelers shut out the Seahawks with a commanding 30-0 victory. Ernest Poe was named the Offensive Player of the Game for his exceptional receiving performance. The Steelers dominated in almost every aspect of the game, showcasing their offensive and defensive prowess. The Seahawks had a tough time in the Steel City, but you've got to give them credit for making it this far. There you have it, folks, a thrilling recap of the RFL divisional playoff games. It's time to shift our focus to the upcoming conference championship games in the 1978 RFL season. These matchups are going to be nothing short of epic, so let's dive right in. First up, we have the NFC Conference Championship showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. Both of these teams have had incredible seasons, and this game promises to be a clash of titans. The Rams come into this game with an impressive 14-2 record, while the Cowboys are no slouches either, boasting an 11-5 record. These teams faced off earlier in the season, with the Rams narrowly edging out the Cowboys 24-21 in Week 3. When you compare these two powerhouses, you can see just how evenly matched they are. The Rams have a top-notch defense, allowing just 228 points, but the Cowboys have one of the league's most explosive offenses, scoring 438 points. It's a classic battle of defense versus offense. Keep an eye on the Rams' Earl Campbell, the league's 4th leading rusher, and Jack Youngblood, a force to be reckoned with in the pass rush. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, Warren Moon, Tony Dorsett, Harold Carmichael, and Bob Brunig have all been standout players this season. Now, there's some important injury news for the Rams. Wide receiver John Gilliam is out with a torn MCL, but there's a possibility that Wesley Walker, who suffered a fractured eye socket, might suit up. And don't forget these intriguing storylines. Dallas is going for its 3rd consecutive Super Bowl win, and these two teams already have some history this season. When they faced off earlier, Dallas was without Warren Moon and Tony Dorsett, and the Rams hadn't yet acquired Earl Campbell and Al Baker. This game promises to be a clash for the ages, and it's not one you'll want to miss. Will the Rams take down the Goliath, or will the Cowboys continue their Super Bowl streak? Tune in to find out. But wait, folks, there's more football excitement on the horizon. In the AFC Conference Championship, the Pittsburgh Steelers will face off against the Miami Dolphins. The Steelers, with a record of 13-3, and the Dolphins, boasting an incredible 15-1 record, are both top-tier teams. These two powerhouses have a recent history in the AFC Championship games, with the Steelers winning in 1976 and the Dolphins taking revenge in 1977. When it comes to individual performances, the Dolphins have Bob Greasy, Benny Malone, and Nat Moore leading the charge, while the Steelers have Benny Cunningham, L.C. Greenwood, and Mel Blount making significant impacts. It's worth noting that the Dolphins and Steelers have been dominant on both sides of the ball this season. Miami's offense ranks second in points scored, while Pittsburgh's defense ranks first in points allowed. Football fans, we are in for a treat with these conference championship games. The Dolphins are looking for redemption, while the Steelers aim to continue their dominance. Who will punch their ticket to the Super Bowl? Stay tuned at The Extra Point to find out. Thanks for joining us on The Extra Point. I'm Lance McAllister, and I can't wait to see you all at the edge of your seats as we witness the drama unfold in these thrilling conference championship games. Until next time, remember, it's not just football, it's the RFL.